this guitar cable costs $8. And this guitar cable costs $25. What's the price difference between these two? Is it worth it? We're going to find out. Hey everybody, I'm Brent, and Melonare once again sent me something to review. This time, a guitar cable. Now, I had no idea how I was going to review a guitar cable. It's a guitar cable, right? Well, actually, maybe not. This one says silent guitar cable, and I recently saw a video review of this on Average Joe's channel, and I was pretty intrigued by some of the differences. So I bought this a while ago, this Newbee instrument cable. This is 10 foot. It's got a right angle and a straight connector. Same thing on this Melonare. 10 feet, right angle connector, straight connector. Right? Should be pretty similar. However, this is like 3 times as much as this one. So I'm really curious about the difference between these two cables. I've been using this one for quite a while, and I haven't even got this one out of the box yet. So let me take a look at this one with you and kind of let you know what I think. That cable, the Newbee cable, essentially this. It's woven, which is okay. I'm not worried about it breaking or anything. It coils up pretty nicely, and it does the job. Nothing spectacular about the cable when it's plugged in. It's a guitar cable. Now this one says that it's silent, and it's got some pretty interesting features on it. Let me read you a little bit about what Melonare says about this particular guitar cable. It has auto mute plugs. The guitar cable's retractable plugs automatically mute the signal during plugging and unplugging, eliminating pops and crackles. No need to manually switch mute on or off. Just plug in and play with ease. That's a pretty interesting feature. I can imagine, especially if you're on stage, performing, you're switching out guitars. Maybe you don't want all the extra static, and you don't want to have to be conscious about muting anything. You just unplug it and plug it back in. We're going to test and see how that compares to the other cables. Double shielding featuring aluminum foil and copper braided shielding with 95% coverage. The instrument cable effectively minimizes noise and interference for a cleaner signal. I'm not going to cut this apart and see if that's true. I'm going to take their word for it. Flexible and durable, the 10-foot electric guitar cable is built with a high-flex PVC jacket that resists wear, stretching, and tangling, ensuring long-lasting reliability. So the auto silent feature, I think, is the most interesting. I will say sometimes that this woven outer sheathing on this particular cable, a lot of times when I'm playing, I'm sitting down, and when this rubs against my clothes, sometimes you ever get that feeling like dry shoelaces? And it's kind of like neat fingers on a chalkboard. It's really, and I've noticed that this can get kind of dusty. It's not super easy to clean. I suspect the PVC sheathing will be a little bit easier to wipe dust off. Let me open this up and see what's in here. So just the cable, no instructions. It comes in a nice box and everything. We got 2 little Velcro wraps for it. Oh, look, you got little covers on them. Which are kind of hard to get off. Very cool. Yeah, this PVC material feels a little bit nicer, like it might be a little bit easier to clean. Now this kind of wrapped up this way Reminds me of an electrical cord. I like to keep mine coiled. And not necessarily in a triangle pattern, which this is seeming to do. Nice tight circles on this one. Kind of a loose mess on this one. However, the ends of these, for example, on this Newbee one, this is always coming loose, so I can unscrew it. Every time I mess with the cables, I have to tighten these things up on here. Doesn't matter how much I tighten it, they always seem to come loose. These connectors, there's nothing to unscrew here. Gold tips. It says Melonare there on the cables. I can spin this, but I can't. It's not unscrewing. Anyway, pretty interesting. Let me set this up. I'll plug it in, and we'll compare. I'm not worried about there being any sound problems, you know, noticeable anyway between the two cables. I think the main thing that I'm curious about is plugging cables in and out, whether or not, how much noise they make. I think that's going to be the big difference right there. So let me get that set up and let you hear what happens. Okay, I've got my audio interface going. I'm just going to plug this in to my amp, which is on. Now, not very staticky there. Actually, I want to plug in that side. Not really hearing any static there. Now I have the cable plugged in. And if I'm kind of fumbling around with it, it's my T's, Tid's T's. So you can hear it crackling and whatnot, right? Not horrible. I don't even know if this guitar's in tune. All right, let's try the other one. Little static, nothing major. I haven't muted anything. It's not a huge problem. Not a huge problem. All right, let's try this one. Am I going to hear any noise? Yeah, this is why I kind of prefer the braided. It's a little bit easier to coil. All right, let's plug this in. No noise. Look at that. Nothing. No noise whatsoever. Little, tiny bit. But touching around the jack, nothing. You see any difference in sound? Pretty good. That is really interesting. I'm just curious. I plugged my old one back in and had to tighten this little sleeve again. All sorts of noise. I'm just touching my bass strings. We'll switch back to the Melonare cable. No loose sleeves on this one. It does feel pretty durable. It feels a lot more durable than a lot of the cheap plastic ones you get. Nothing. Nothing. No noise at all. Now, if there's a little piece here. If I hold that down, you can hear it, but I have to physically hold this little shaft piece. You see that? I can pull it down, and then you can hear noise. So when it plugs in, it pushes that down. That allows the signal to go through. When it's not in, it's in that position, which allows no signal to go through. Now that was pretty cool. Is it worth 3 times as much? I don't know. I think that depends on your situation. And I can't say that it'd be worth it for me. It's a pretty interesting feature to have, but I'm just playing in my garage. I'm not playing on stage or in front of anybody or doing a performance of any kind, so not necessarily something that I'm too personally worried about. Plus, I'm using the wireless system a lot now, so but I think if you were on stage using cables and that's something that bothers you when you're unplugging your equipment, plugging new equipment in, having to mute the signal or anything like that in any way, if that's an annoyance, this is a pretty good solution. Might be worth it for you. This is the old ones coiled up. This is the new ones. I like the neatness of this a bit better. The material on this maybe allows for that. I have some problems with it, as I mentioned earlier. This one I think is going to be easier to clean and not give me that scratchy fingernails on the chalkboard feeling. But I wish these coiled a little bit nicer. Maybe if they were packaged differently, they wouldn't have those bends in the cable, but I don't know. So anyway, thanks Melonare for sending me these. They're pretty cool, pretty interesting to look at. A lot more interesting than I was originally thinking for a guitar cable. So thank you for that. Actually, I think I'm going to donate these to Casey over at String Pickers for his charity guitar that he's doing, the Dream Collective. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. Sorry, Casey. Go check out String Pickers if you haven't already. Casey's a really good friend and a super awesome guy. So that's the Melonare. These are the GA-CB1 silent guitar cables. If you're interested in something like this on Amazon right now for $24.99. Thanks again, Melonare, for sending these out. And thank all of you for watching. And as always, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Cheers.